Hi, today we're going to talk about modifying reports in Global CRM. We have a lot of great reporting functionality in Global CRM, and you're able to change layouts and create new layouts of reports that you can just request on demand. And this will hopefully help you speed up your process when you need to pull reports from the Global CRM system. Modifying reports can be done in 4 simple steps. First is that you're going to select the report that you want to modify. Second, you're going to modify that report. Third, you'll save your layout. And fourth, depending on how you save it, you might need to set some layout parameters. During this walkthrough, what I'm going to show you is each of these steps, and I'm going to go into some detail on the options, for example, with your modifications. And I'm going to show you how to re-trigger your report once you have created a new layout. So let's get right into the Global CRM system. You will have selected the reporting option over on the main ProMock Salesperson homepage, and it will open up your ProMock CRM reporting tool. The first thing you're going to do is select the report you wish to modify. You have 2 options here. You can select from the top level of report options using the View dropdown. So that's all the available reports that we have created as a base layout for you in the system. If by some chance you've already created a layout in the past and you wish to modify that layout, you would come to Layout and Select, and you would select a previous layout you had saved. We're just going to start with the top level of Division Opportunities and Open, and I'll show you how to modify this. So in step 2, you begin to modify your report. There are 2 ways to create modifications. One is through the report options through Display, and another one is through the report results by moving columns around. I'm going to go through some of your options that you have under the display option first. By clicking display, you see you have a lot of options. And the first one I'm going to show you is the choose columns. So on each report, we have a series of columns that we have decided the data seems good as a base point, but perhaps you need some additional columns. So for example, we have, estimated value and salesperson included on the Division Opportunity Open. Maybe perhaps you're also going to need status, for example. So by clicking status, you can see now this has appeared on my report. If I don't want it anymore, I can simply unclick it. There are a lot of columns that you can choose. If at any point you want to learn what each column is or what reports include which columns, you can refer to the different report layouts under the reporting in the ProMock Knowledge Center, and that will bring you to a link where all of the reports are listed, including their columns that you can either have defaulted or that you can choose. We'll, for example, right now include status. We'll put that back in there. When I'm done with the columns I want to add, I will simply hit X. Oh, I should say that it will appear in the part of the report based on where it is in this option. I'll show you later, though, how to start moving them around to create a layout with column orders that you would like. The next thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of jump to the bottom here, but I'm going to show the column scroll lock. Sorry, I'll do that first, and then I'll jump back to Group by. By clicking the column scroll lock, what this will do is it'll allow you to essentially pin a column. Just like you have in Excel that you can freeze a layer or freeze like a row, you can do that in this report as well. So if, for example, I always wanted my opportunity ID to stay there as I scrolled through the report, I can simply hit this little pin. Notice it moves over to the left and it pins it. It changed how that view looked. And anytime I scroll over now, that front column is going to be essentially pinned in place for me. I can simply undo that if I want to by clicking it again, and it will undo it. It's not going to move it back to where it was, but now when I scroll over, for example, it's not holding that opportunity ID as the first column. Next, since I accidentally jumped over it, I will hit the Show Group By. What this will do is it will allow you to create a way to group the report. It'll change the layout a little bit. So as you can see, we were doing Division Opportunity Open. I had all the opportunities of divisions that I'm assigned to in the system. So if you are assigned to multiple divisions, you'll have all of those. But perhaps I want then to have it broken down into each of the divisions I might work for. I could simply take division and slide it right up here to my Group By area. Then what the report is going to do is going to just group all of those together, and I can expand them out and see them that way. So it'll just kind of lump them up. I can get very deep with this and group it by division and then salesperson, or perhaps division and status, things like that. So you can get really creative. If at any point you've done something in your modification that you don't like and you want to undo it, or you want to go back to the very beginning, you can simply click refresh. And what it will do is it'll bring you back to your base version of the report. So it's going to open up my division opportunities open again. And it'll just put it back to normal, but my options are still there in terms of what I had triggered in my display functionality. We had triggered group by and the column scroll lock, and perhaps I don't really want to see those anymore. Now I have the choice of saying hide group by or hide column scroll lock, so that will undo seeing that option. Because I've clicked multiple ones, I also now have the option to just hide my options. So it'll just put us back to that very standard base report. I also have the option to put filters on my report. So I'm going to click Show Filters, and this works just like you would in Excel by having filters. If you want to, for example, put a certain projected close date in there, you can put some filters in that way. If you only want to see certain close percentages or over a certain estimated value, you have all those options. For example, maybe I just want to see things that are occurring, like the close date is occurring this year or this month or in the next 6 months. I can simply click on my filter. I have options to either give it a hard set date, like I just want reports that are projected to close in 2019. I can hit OK, and then I would only see those ones on my report anytime I run this layout. Or I could give it, for example, different types of date filters. So before a certain time, or this month, this quarter, for example. So I will select this quarter. And now we're going to have everything within this date range of the quarter. So next time I trigger this report, this layout, then I have set it that, I wanted that status field in there. I put that it needs to be this quarter, and it will do that based on the current time you're in. So it won't be that the next time if I ran this, for example, today is June 12th, if I ran it in November, it's not going to give me June 12th. It's going to actively give me this quarter. Another option I have is something called Show Summaries. So if I wanted to include like a value summary on this report, I could. Maybe I wanted to know the average amount of the estimated values of these open opportunities. So I can click the little summation button, and then I have the choice of, do I want the average amount? Do I want the sum? Things like that. So I can just go ahead and click average and hit OK, and it's going to show me my average from the estimated values that is in my report. Also, if at any point you're not really sure what the columns are about, you can hit Show Extended Summaries, and that'll just give you a little bit more information, basically the back end inside stuff of where this is coming from, how that is coded, what does that field value represent. So again, I'm going to get rid of my Show Extended categories. I'm going to get rid of my I'm going to hide my summary. It did stay down there, but I don't have this here. I'm going to leave my filters in place because that's essentially what I want in this report, is I want a report that's going to show us this quarter. But perhaps I'd like that to be the very first thing on my report. So I do have the options also of sliding columns around. I can either nest them under things, or I can just simply move them around to put them in a new spot. It's very simple to use this. You really can't break the system as you're learning how to modify your report. So if you want to put in every single column and save it that way, it's not going to break anything in the system. One thing I had said earlier, if you hit refresh, you can be brought back to the original layout that you have. As you're going through, hit the refresh button only when you really want to go back to the beginning. If you just simply want to change something in terms of what you were showing as the display, come back to the display option to do that. If you don't like where the column is that you repositioned, simply slide it back. Because if you hit refresh, it will undo all of the changes you made to your layout if you have not yet saved your layout. Now, once you've hit a point that you like your layout, you were able to get to the data that you would want. So you're able to save this. And what that helps you do is that anytime you need to run a specific report, you don't need to just come and select the top level report and then come and make all the changes. You can just create a layout based on the filters, the view you want, what type of information you want to have, save that layout, and then just request it on demand anytime you need it. So to save it, what you will do is end up coming to layout. Since I did this from a top level report, I don't have the option to save because I didn't pick an existing report. Had you picked an existing modified layout that you made, you'd have the option to overwrite that layout that you had previously created, or you could hit save as to create that new layout. But I'm going to click save as, and this brings us to our third step, was to save it. And our fourth step is if you click save as, you need to set your layout parameters. What that is you need to give the layout a name. So I'm going to call it this quarter opportunities. And then you have the option of clicking default, like to default this layout or not. If you select default, what will end up happening is anytime you come to division opportunities open, this view that you've created will be the one that comes with that. So if you want the base report, then you're going to have to come to layout and select that base report. I highly encourage to not set your layouts as default, just because if you come later, you might forget that that was set as your default and you want to start modifying, and you might have to do too many steps to go backwards. So I encourage you to save any of your sub layouts as a sub layout because they're very simple to rerun. Your scope type and your scope name are saved. So what this is going to do is when you create a specific layout, it is saved for just you as a setup. So you're going to see all these options. So if you want to create 20 report layouts, you can, because other people who log on to Global CRM won't see what you have. So it won't be that you'll be inundated with a ton of layouts if people are creating them. This is your opportunity to create exactly what you need for your job. I'm going to hit OK. And it tells me that my save was successful. And now too, for example, if you select layout, then you can see if I go down to select, there we go, I was a little sleepy, this quarter opportunities exist. If I ever wanted to delete a layout, I would open that layout and simply hit delete, and it would just remove it from my options. So I'm going to just kind of really quickly hit another report, but just come right back to the division opportunities open, because I'm going to show you now the process of when you come in, how you're going to see the reports, how you're going to trigger it. So you go to your top level report, so division opportunities open. I'm just going to come to layout. So as you can see, it went back to what the original thing was. We can tell that by, for example, we didn't have status, and we had put that in, and we had put projected close date at the front because we said we wanted things from this quarter. Also, there might be a lot of reports that, March, for example, of 2018 is not in the quarter that we're in. Also, neither is 2019 because it's June 2018 right now. I'm going to hit layout, I'm going to hit select, and then I'm going to go to this quarter opportunities since that's the report we named. Then it just simply popped up. I got my layout on demand, and all my data is current and accurate in the system. So as I said, creating and modifying reports is very simple. Feel free to dive in and practice and try out different filters, try out different column arrangements. Again, you can't break anything in the system, but by coming in here and modifying reports to create things you need on a regular basis, though you might have to put a couple of minutes in effort-wise at the beginning, you're going to save a lot of time in the end because you're just able to simply choose your layout and run it and have it on demand in just a few seconds. And that's the presentation on modifying reports in Global CRM.